Hello everyone and welcome back to Canadian Boxing Hub. If you enjoy this video or others like it, please comment, like, subscribe, and I'll churn out all the content that I can. Anyone who's listened to the channel a little bit might know that I'm sounding a little under the weather, but here we are. I can film a video today and feeling a little plugged up, but we'll get it out there, so apologies for the voice. Of course, we've got a big card coming up this weekend over in London at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium there. It's going to be a packed out crowd for a main event that I won't be going into here on this channel. There's enough to make your head spin elsewhere on the internet, so you can go there if you're interested in that main event, but I'm not. So there are a couple of fights, though, on the undercard, which I'm happy will be getting a good crowd and some good exposure. I'll be catching the highlights for these ones as soon as they're pirated somewhere. Chris Billum-Smith, Brandon Glanton, we can start there. Glanton is a underrated, I'd say, cruiserweight contender who's been fighting out of the US. He's been kind of on the scene of fighting at contender status for about the last 5 years or so. He's a guy who's going to come and he's going to put it on CBS, and I love this stylistic matchup. I think this is going to be carnage for as long as it lasts. I am going to go with the CBS knockout win here. I see that happening sometimes around 5 through 7, but we'll see how resilient Glanton is against a guy who has traded it at the highest level like CBS. I'm a little bit interested to see CBS staying around at the weight here at cruiserweight. He's monstrous for the size, obviously, and, I think he'd be comparable, maybe a little bit bigger even than an Alexander Usyk. So he can absolutely go up. The thing with an Usyk, of course, is that he's got a skill set where he can kind of bamboozle many of our heavyweight contenders, whereas CBS doesn't necessarily have crazy foot speed. He doesn't necessarily have the awkward angles that Usyk brings. He's just a good fighter all around, well polished, good at the basics, and tough as nails. So this is going to be a really interesting fight. I'm going to take CBS, and I have a hard time imagining this goes all the distance. The other cruiserweight matchup that we've got, which is intriguing to me, again, because this is a well-matched fight. I believe these are two guys that are coming in at a very similar point in their career. This is, of course, Chev Clarke and Vidal Riley. I love that Chev Clarke's team is throwing him right back in with a big domestic fight here. To be honest, he's got a lot to lose here, but very much to gain as well. If Chev Clarke pulls out a win here, his loss by decision against Mosquea in his last fight kind of vanishes in our minds, I believe. But if he loses to Vidal Riley via any means, I think his world title aspirations at this age are pretty well quashed. Chev Clarke, I think he's another one of these amateur guys that maybe cooked a little too long down at that level. He's got a good pro style, but at this age, it's interesting, and they've had to move him quick. And in his last fight, he came up against someone who it was hard for him to get by, and Mosquea performed out of his skin. I think in a rematch, there's a good chance Chev Clarke wins that one, but he made some mistakes that cost him in the first fight. So it's going to be interesting. Of course, Vidal Riley, a very slick boxer. I could see an outcome just about any way in this one. I could see stoppage for either guy. I could see a points win, probably more so for Vidal Riley than for Chev Clarke. Unless we see like a couple knockdowns or something that helps Clark's scorecards. But two really intriguing fights, good matchmaking. And again, I'm happy these guys are going to be fighting on a big stage. I'm interested to hear what you guys think. I'm going with CBS via stoppage mid-rounds, and I'm actually going to go Vidal Riley points in the other fight. So let me know what you think. Am I way off? Am I bang on? Leave a comment. Let's get a conversation going, and let's look forward to these fights this weekend. Cheers, guys. Let's talk soon. Bye.